How we doing, Patriot fans? Welcome to this week's episode of the PrimeTime Patriots podcast. As always, your host, Jake Mott, alongside me, Ryan Matson. Breaking down game from last week, about a week ago now. Patriots 50, Jaguars 10 at Gillette. First, just want to get your thoughts on, do you give this game any real weight? And was it a righting of the ship game, or is it kind of just Jags are the Jags?
I mean, Jags are the Jags, honestly. But, putting up 50, that's a respectable number against any team. So, I think offensively we saw a lot and defensively. But giving, the Jags offense and pretty much the Jags whole team doesn't show too much. But it gets you rolling into this week coming up against Miami and then into the playoffs as well. It just doesn't really show us what type of team they really are.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Mac had a pretty good day, 22 of 30, 227, 3 touchdowns, got pulled, no picks as well, but got pulled about midway through the fourth or so. Brian Hoyer came in for a couple of drives. But the big thing for me was we had the ball for 36 minutes compared to Jacksonville had it for just about 23. And we were 8 for 10 on third and 0 picks, which means we were doing a good job extending drives, keeping things going. Last week against the Bills, abysmal on third down.
Yeah.
2 of 12 or something like that, to where you just couldn't keep drives going. You had to go for it 6 times on fourth in that game. So in this game, that was different. You were able to take the ball, hold it for as long as you did, not make mistakes, do things like that. So that's always good to see. And I did, the one area that I thought it is beneficial and it is sort of a actual pick-me-up game is for the running game. I thought they looked really good compared to where they didn't look too great the past couple weeks in those 2 losses. Ramondre had 19 for 107, and both him and Damian Harris had 2 touchdowns apiece. So pretty good day running, and that's what the running game is about. It's just doesn't really matter too much who the opponent is. It's just running your plays effectively, knowing that they work, getting to the guys, the blocks you have to make. And I'm actually a big Miles Jack fan, and he was pretty much neutralized from this game. So
yeah, he was.
That was good to see. Jacoby Myers out of the gate, I think he was our most productive receiver by far. He had 3 catches or so on that first drive.
Yeah.
So he was going off, and then the big name to take away is probably Christian Wilkerson.
Yeah.
Had himself a day, 4 catches, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, and could have had 3. Had the drop in the end zone.
Was Aguilar not playing? I don't remember.
He wasn't.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah, he was out, and I'm not sure if N'Keal Harry was or wasn't, but regardless, he was kind of filling that role.
No, he was out. He was a healthy scratch.
Oh, okay. So exactly. I think what Christian Wilkerson did at least gives him consideration for when Aguilar's back, he should be that third receiver instead of, or third or fourth, whichever, instead of Harry.
Yeah,
behind Jacoby, Kendrick,
he would be
and Aguilar.
Fourth, I think.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know if Wilkerson brings. It's likely that he doesn't bring the same type of effort to the blocking game that N'Keal Harry does, because that's N'Keal Harry's only saving grace. but Christian Wilkerson looked pretty good as a traditional receiver. He went down the field, made some plays. Him and Mac were really comfortable in preseason because they're guys who worked together even when Cam Newton was still here. Mac was working with the twos, obviously. Him and Christian Wilkerson had a nice connection, so nice to see that. Would you give a majority of snaps to Wilkerson or Harry moving forward?
Wilkerson for sure. I mean, I think we've seen enough out of Harry at this point. We can put over his name, bust, and just move on. So.
I agree. Yeah, I think there's a lot of Calvin Ridley talk too. Falcons are saying they're looking to move on, and they're a team that likes that kind of receiver like N'Keal Harry and likes just that body out of their guys. They're a big physical guy.
Yeah, you're not gonna do a straight up trade.
No,
you definitely have to involve
picks and other
more,
things.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
if they're willing to move on, you could potentially get away with the trades we've seen. You could maybe do Harry and then a third or maybe just a second instead. Yeah. But I don't think you're going to have to give up a first-round pick or anything for a guy who is a clear first-round talent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just his head right now, obviously. But Moving over to our defensive side of the ball, not really much to take away. Again, they did what they were expected to do. I think, if anything, the story of this game is the 50 points from the Patriots' offense. So, defense basically did exactly what we thought. The 3 picks are nice to see, but it's nothing that we wouldn't have expected coming into this game. So, not too much to talk about with that. 50-10. Nice win to get back into the win column. Neither of us think it's too significant.
Yeah.
Doesn't really say too much, but it does get us ready for a much more important game.
Yeah, definitely.
This week against the Dolphins in Miami. So we will get to that right now. All right, so this week coming up, the Patriots are traveling to Miami, where they have historically had some trouble to face the Miami Dolphins. Basic thoughts on that game before we get into some stuff.
Go out and win. That's pretty much, what you got to do at this point. AFC's so tight where wins and losses this week affect the whole playoff bracket. So yeah, if I'm the Pats, I'm just doing whatever I can to get a win.
Yeah. All right. So here's my question: if somebody's on the bubble, they're a little more injury prone, they've been struggling with some stuff. Is this a game where you personally sit them, or do you treat this completely like a playoff game where, hey, if you're 85%, it's time to go? Or do you say we're in, let's make sure we're healthy, or do you try to keep that tempo going and treat this as a must-win?
I think when it comes to injuries, you might be a little more lenient with that. But when it comes to star guys saying how star guys want to sit out at the last game, I don't think that should be flying. I think injuries are a reasonable thing to be sitting out for if you're not 100%. But I mean, yeah, you got to get a win here. It's not necessary, but it's a big win if you get it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree. I'm treating it, you can never perfectly recreate a playoff game, and you never could, especially the moods in Miami aren't going to be as great. They just got officially knocked out last week. Yeah. So it won't be buzzing like a playoff game, but I think it's in your benefit to try to treat this as much as a playoff game as possible. Definitely. So hopping into some stats for the Dolphins. Their offense, they're 25th in yards per game, 15th in passing, 31st in rushing. And then they're 24th in points per game. They scored just over 19. So honestly, just looking at that broadly, I think that plays right into your defense. That's exactly what you want. You got, number one, a young quarterback. Number two, a team that tries to pass and passes quite a bit, the 15th in passing, and a team that has virtually abandoned the run. They're second to last in the run. So, and that's been the weakness of the Patriots defense all year. So I think it plays right in your hands. I think you should really handle their offense.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is, at this point, if we go on and blow them out or get the win, with a good margin, then you're looking at the playoffs you don't have any competition leading up to it because we had Jags and, if we take care of them pretty easy, then. But, the defense on the rush game for us, it's a little falling off, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think, while it plays into your hands, I don't think it's the perfect case scenario to a week before you could potentially be playing a team that can really ground and pound the ball. I mean, Joe Mixon is a great running back. We'll talk about playoff matchups coming up. But either way, I don't think it benefits you greatly, per se, to play a team that's this bad against the rush right before you go into a big tilt. But I think a win's as important as anything. So you'll take the good matchup. A little bit more on Tua. He's bottom half of the league for everything except interceptions. He's 11th, so he's tied in that category. I'm sure there's a few guys that are at 10. But in the last 3 games, he got 5. So out of his 10 picks, the last 3 games, he's thrown half of them. So I think if you can get one off him, and
he's also missed some time. So
yeah, that's true, definitely. So you're right. So that would pump down his interception numbers. So even that's not what it would seem. I don't know. I really think usually I go into this saying if you can first force a turnover in some way, you should be all set. I don't think you necessarily have to. in this game. I think you can force punts.
Yeah.
And you can force things at a high enough rate where you're not going to need to make some kind of turnover to swing.
Yeah,
the game.
I still think we're gonna get one though. Our pass defense is, I think, that good, but our rush defense is the only thing that I think, yeah, like you said, suspect.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But hopping over to their defensive side of the ball, 15th in yards per game, 14th in passing, 10th in rushing. So they're just above average.
Yeah.
But it is a little misleading. 16th in points per game, by the way, too. Just under 22 they let up. But it is a little misleading because this is a team that is improved just about as much as any other team defensively from the start of the year to now. Yeah, so they've really turned it up. Thoughts on that defense?
They're pretty good, honestly. I don't think they're, I think they're top half of the league. I think their rush defense is better, for sure. I mean, stats prove that too. But, yeah, I mean, the secondary's not bad. They still got Howard back there. They could
McCourty,
win
don't they?
They could win, but
McCourty's brother?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
I don't remember. He might be there.
Believe so, but either way.
Yeah. I mean, they're a decent team, honestly. They turned around their season big time. Didn't make the playoffs this year, but they start 0-7 and now they're 8-8 or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to obviously a guy from here, Brian Flores. What's your thoughts on him? More of a defensive guy.
I like him a lot.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
I agree.
I think we said earlier on this podcast saying like he was on the hot seat after they started like 0-6, 0-7.
Yeah. Well, they were 1-6 or something because they beat us.
Exactly. They were on like a 0-7 run.
I think big losing streak. Yep.
So, after looking at that, like at that point, it's like, all right, maybe something's taking place here. But he turned it around. The team turned it around. So, I still think he's a great coach, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I would think, off the top of my head at least, best Belichick disciple.
Yeah.
So by far, there's not really much to compare to, quite honestly. But
Matt Patricia.
Yeah, Matt Patricia, Bill O'Brien.
He had a couple decent years.
Yeah. He also had a top 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and D-Hop, who he shipped. He was there when he shipped him away, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe the worst trade ever.
Yeah.
That was really horrendous. But either way, so yeah, they've definitely picked up their play as the years gone on, and biggest character trait of these guys is they blitz a lot and they blitz with a lot of different looks.
Yeah.
And it's something that's actually remained relatively consistent. Even going into week 1, I remember talking about the different packages and stuff that they always send. They love to send different looks, especially to young guys like Mac. So I think it's going to be super, super interesting to see how Mac handles it as compared to 16 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it'll be similar looks and stuff. I think everyone would agree that his processing has improved and gotten a lot better. But this will be a good test to actually apples to apples compare and see how they're looking. So yeah, they're eliminated officially from the playoffs. Yeah. So it's not.
Pat's officially in too.
Yes, exactly.
So, hey.
Yep.
Remember, nails on the coffin.
We're in. Yeah. We were bordering.
We're in.
We are in now. So no matter what, this game doesn't hold any real playoff significance. But necessarily, but it's still an important game. The Dolphins are not just going to roll over for you. They hate you. You hate them. So it's
Bills lose, we win.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too. You're not playing for nothing. You need other things to happen. But if you win and then a few other things fall your way...
You could move up.
Yeah,
top 3, top 4,
Exactly. So definitely a game I think you go all out for. I think the Pats going to win 30-16.
Yeah, I'm thinking 27-17.
That's good. Yeah. I like that. So, yeah, I don't know where I got the 16 from, but we'll see what happens. They're not
miss an extra point.
Yeah, miss an extra point, then kick it in. So, we'll see how it goes. And then before we wrap it up, I would just want to ask you, what's your ideal playoff matchup and why? I could go first if you want to think about it. Or...
No, honestly, we were talking about this earlier. I know this won't happen. Well, I mean... I'll never say never, but honestly, I think Tennessee. We took care of them very easily. Derrick Henry, I think he came off IR. I remember that last week. but I don't think he's still gonna play for a little bit. I don't remember. I don't know completely.
Mm-hmm.
With Henry not there, I feel comfortable playing Tennessee.
What if, not to put you on the spot, but what if they don't have Henry? Do you change to another team?
If
Or if they
Henry
do,
does
if
play,
they do have Henry, my fault.
well, seeing as he's probably almost fully healthy at that point, I would be a little concerned. So at that point, I'd probably go to Cincy.
Yep, yeah, and that flips it to me. I would say Cincy. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like the Bengals, but I've been pretty down on them the whole year, just in terms of where everybody else thinks they are.
Yeah.
My comparison that I usually make is how people treated the Browns last year, where there was a lot of hype and there's a lot of star power, but I just think they're too young.
Yeah.
And most importantly, they have no coaching. I don't even know who the hell their coach is. So, like, I'm not I'll take Bill Belichick over some guy I don't know any day. And not that I think Joe Burrow is very special. He's a great quarterback.
Joe Mixon,
Yep.
Jamar Chase, T.
Exactly.
Higgins, all those guys, yeah.
Yeah, they got weapons all over the place. So, and they're a good team, and they should be a good team for quite a while. But right now, I just think they're a little too young, a little too inexperienced. So that would be my ideal first matchup. But like we said, if you want to go win this thing anyway, you're gonna have to play everybody at some point. So either way, both got the Patriots winning this week. Should be a good game rolling into the playoffs. We'll find out who that is next week.
Let's hope for a Jets win.
Yes, hey, go Jets.
Yeah.
Hey, all will be forgiven.
1 week we'll root for them. So
Absolutely. So we'll see how it looks. We will break down this game against the Dolphins, win or loss, and look ahead next week to whoever the Patriots will have to travel to in the first week of the playoffs. And all right, thank you guys very much for watching. Go Pats.
Go Pats.